Hello, everybody, and welcome to the behind-the-scenes part of Muppet Treasure Island.
That's right. This is where the people who worked on Muppet Treasure Island tell you all sorts of interesting stories about the making of the movie.
Yes, it's the stories behind the story. They also talk about what it was like to work with us.
That's right. They especially love talking about my tail.
What?
Well, yeah. I hear it all the time. They say, it's a fabulous coming-of-age tale. A tale loved by generations of children. A classic tale of epic proportions.
They're not talking about your tail. They're talking about the tale of Treasure Island.
Yeah, but I thought we were going to tell the stories behind the stories.
We are.
Well,
We're going to tell those fine viewers out there some stuff they've never heard before.
Oh, right. And some stuff, folks, that you may already know. Like, for instance, for starters, Treasure Island, the book, was written by Robert Louis Stevenson, that guy.
Who would have been very happy to know we were going to film his little story.
You mean his little tail?
He didn't have a tail. He's a person.
Oh.
Dead men tell no tales.
Okay, he was a person.
Yes, but Muppet Treasure Island, the movie, well, that started with a director by the name of Brian Henson.
The captain approaches.
Careful, guys. I'm going to speak.
Careful, the director is going to speak.
Hoity-toy.
I started directing when I was about 23. So I was probably 30 when I made Muppet Treasure Island.
Mr. Arrow, this voyage has begun.
We toyed with a lot of ideas before deciding on Treasure Island. We knew we wanted to make another classic, like Christmas Carol was a classic Christmas story, and a story that people knew.
We're on our way and off to see the world.
On the way and off to see the world.
Well, actually, I was very much a part of the idea of doing Robert Louis Stevenson. So they didn't come to me until I was actually a champion for Robert Louis Stevenson.
Who's he, some kind of champion?
No, he's one of the writers.
What? I thought Robert Louis Stevenson wrote it all by himself.
No, he wrote the book by himself. The three other guys wrote the movie. Jerry Jewell, Kirk Thatcher, and Jim Hart. Don't you read the opening credits?
Well, I don't go to the movies to read. I go to the bathroom for that.
And I said, God, let's do a rollicking movie with pirates and action and adventure. And what I loved about pirate films, and I've always loved them, is you get all the very disparate characters. And I thought, that's good for Muppets.
Okay, I give Uncle, I'm dead.
Writing for a Muppet movie, you're trying to think, God, we've got, 5 major characters and 12 supporting characters, and they all have to have, fun roles.
Who hired this crew? This is undoubtedly the seediest bunch of cutthroats, villains, and scoundrels I have ever seen, so who hired them?
Well, yeah, it took a while to go from the original idea of the script of Muppet Treasure Island to the finished draft to actually shooting the thing. And Brian, as I recall, said he wasn't going to cut his hair until we were done.
The truth is, the script was taking so long that I actually said to everybody in the company, I said, I'm not cutting this hair until we finish this script. And then it was down my back.
I just thought he was too cheap to go to the barber.
I just thought he was a long-haired hippie.
It wasn't really much of a incentive for me because I thought he looked good in long hair.
Look at this! I'm taller. This is so cool. I may even have a future with the NBA.
The writing is sort of everything. If it's there in the script, you can make a great movie into a good movie, but you can't actually make a great movie into a bad movie if it was a great script. Likewise, if you have a bad script, you might be able to make a good movie, but you'll never make a great movie.
What did he say?
I think he said they wrote a great script.
Oh, well, with 3 writers, you'd think so. It only took 1 to write the book.
I wrote the movie with Jerry Jewell, who was the first person that Jim Henson hired, 30 years earlier.
Aye! Beware the one-legged man. He's the one to fear.
I go back forever.
So he'd been writing for the Muppets, most of his adult life. And it was a great experience because he knew all the characters really well.
Yeah, Jerry knows things about us that even we don't know.
Like what?
I forgot.
Kirk would come rolling in about 9:30 or so and lie down on the couch, and I'd sit at the computer, and we would start talking about everything we had seen on television for a while, and then we would talk about as many other things as we could until we were finally faced with the horrible real reality that we were going to have to try to attack the next scene.
Next! All right, folks, have your checks made out to Rat Tours Limited. Remember, we put the rat in pirate.
The way we work in the script is you kind of write the story version of it first before you go into dialogue. And so we worked on it for, maybe a year, 9 months to a year, going through different versions. And then Jim Hart came on right before production, possibly, when it was a go picture. And he's written movies like Dracula, the Coppola's Dracula, and he did a Frankenstein film with Robert De Niro.
I'm bad. And they're bad too, they're just stupid.
In the beginning of Muppet creation.
Hey, wait a second. He's talking about where Muppets come from. People don't want to know that.
Yes, they do. Where did you come from?
I came from the sewer.
You're right. People don't want to know that.
Initially, we had actually written Treasure Island with Gonzo and Rizzo as Jim and Hawkins. And we weren't going to actually have a Jim Hawkins in the movie. We were going to have Jim and Hawkins would be Rizzo and Jim would be Gonzo. And we had a very, very funny script.
We were going to be the leads. What happened?
Maybe they heard where you came from.
It never really worked because ultimately, Treasure Island is a story about a boy becoming a man. Kind of hard to do that with a rat and a whatever. so we brought Jim Hawkins back in, and Kevin Bishop. We had a great actor to play Jim Hawkins.
It just feels so weird.
You mean that Mr. Arrow's dead?
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
And my pants are filled with starfish.
You and your hobbies. Oh.
Rizzo!
Jim, we've missed you. Climb in.
And kept Gonzo and Rizzo as his sidekicks.
Sidekicks?
Sidekick?
Oh, we get no respect.
But we don't deserve any.
What?
Besides, Kevin was a good actor.
Yeah, that's true. He was great. Especially to us sidekicks.
Well, with the Muppets, the whole film, on screen and off screen, is just so funny. I mean, you can't really be serious when, I mean, it's hard. You have to say, right, let's get down to work, and we have to sort of kick ourselves to make ourselves, you know, stop playing. We love to play, and the Muppeteers love to play too.
You play? What do you mean you play?
I'm an actor.
What?
I'm an actor.
You're not a real pirate?
No, what are you, crazy?
He's not a real pirate.
But who has the map now? Huh? Some black-hearted, squid-sucking buccaneer?
Whew, talk about typecasting. The guy who played Billy Bones' name is Billy.
Yeah, well, somebody should tell him to drop that phony accent already.
I hold the map to Treasure Island, and I die very early in the script. I die on page 13.
I had jokes die on almost every page.
So that's what that smell was.
I have two scenes with Gonzo, and it's like going to heaven for me.
It's no joking matter, hose nose. The one-legged man brings death.
Doing a scene with Gonzo, I have to hold his nose and talk to him. And it's very, very difficult, because when you hold Gonzo, when you hold Gonzo's nose, his expression goes like, and it's extremely difficult. His eyebrows go up and his eyes go, and it's awfully difficult to talk to him without cracking up.
That's not a phony accent. He really is a Scot.
I thought you said he was really a Billy.
The best thing about directing a Muppet movie is that the crew gets very, very excited because it's completely different for them. And I think what people going into working on a Muppet movie think is they think it's going to be easier but fun. And then when they come onto a Muppet movie, what they find is it's actually enormously more difficult than 9 out of 10 films, because every single shot's actually a special effect. Every shot is an illusion to try and create the illusion of a reality.
What'd he say?
Basically, he said that our reality is just an illusion created by special effects.
No wonder I'm broke. I can't afford myself.
Ah, there she is, the Hispaniola.
The star should be the ship. The ship was quite a challenge to do, because I was trying to create a ship which will be more kind of friendly to Muppets and also accept humans.
It's a huge gimbal rig, which is a universal joint with the hydraulics underneath it. We built the ship sets, the full-size ones, on the gimbal.
What's a gimbal? A tiny gumball?
No. It's that thing the boat sits on that makes it move like it's on the ocean, which basically makes you want to toss your cookies.
Oh.
People didn't actually get seasick. I thought people were going to get seasick, so I made everybody take these seasick tablets. I don't remember what they're called again, but I made everybody take these seasick tablets, which of course made them all fall asleep.
Oh, this is true. This is absolutely true.
So it was actually, the other problem was Tim Curry was going to kill me because it was like the first scene that he's in the movie, and there he is, he can hardly stay awake to act.
Allow me to introduce my pet lobster, Polly.
Pieces of eight, pieces of eight.
Raised him from a fingerling, I did. As fine a crustacean as a man could ask for.
I remember thinking that this is a little peculiar.
Oh, I hear that all the time.
No, you are peculiar.
I don't know whether you've taken Dramamine, but it doesn't do much for pace.
That was a bad idea. In the end, it has a very realistic movement, but truthfully, you're not rolling with the water, so it doesn't actually make you seasick. Shots of the ship out on the ocean are all composites. We actually made a 12-foot ship, which is being composited on shots of the real ocean down in the Caribbean. And yeah, we sent Tom Smith, our visual effects producer on the movie, we sent him down with a little crew, and they got to shoot sunsets and sunrises off of a yacht. And we all got to sit in England and be jealous of them.
Wait a minute, people got to go to the Caribbean in a yacht and watch the sunset?
Yeah, they never got to ride the gimbal and get fake seasickness. Poor saps.
Now untie me! And let's go find the treasure!
Tim's very like a Muppet performer. He likes to be big, and he likes to be broad, and he likes to try and upstage to win.
Upstage, lads! This is my only number. Now take Sir Francis Drake. The Spanish all despise him. But to the British, he's a hero, and they idolize him.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're competing with the Muppets, you better be pretty big.
What's he talking about?
Who can compete with these little furry creatures?
Maybe he's referring to your nose.
Everybody says, how does a Muppet performer get to be a star performer? And the truth is, it's a competition. We are not respectful of each other at all. Like, most actors are very respectful. Okay, they're front and center, and now we look at them. Muppet's completely different. If you can upstage and get the front stage, if you can get the attention, you win.
Aren't you giving Rizzo a little more frame than me?
No, give me a little more.
Tim's the same kind of performer.
And I think probably everybody feels like that, because, you know, the Muppets have carte blanche. You know, like kids, they can say what's on their mind.
Right now, I'm somewhere between bedwetting and a near-death experience.
You know, a lot of times when I'm being interviewed as Gonzo or Bunsen or somebody, I think it'd be a lot easier if we could just do this as ourselves. Well, that's wrong.
It wouldn't be easier.
No. Okay. We were doing a production number. Frank was playing Piggy, singing this song called Quanta Lagusta. And Jim and I were up in the balcony doing these two little female pigs who were sort of singing background vocals. And then during the instrumental break, mine brought up a trumpet and played a little solo. And while the solo was going on, I sort of had her dance around and kind of lean over the balcony railing backwards and play the trumpet up like that. And Jim was just cracking up because he knew that this was just going to upstage Frank terribly. And that's an example of the kind of silliness that we got up to.
Yeah, it was encouraged too. We had the backstage area on the Muppet Show, and I came in about the middle of the third season. I, was doing all these background things, and Jim would just say, "Grab a puppet and get up there, and do whatever you want to do," And we would do all these ridiculous things up there.
Yes.
I mean, the point was, and he knew we were doing it. It was intentional. He wanted us to get up there and try to do puppets, and do these. I'm not saying anything anymore. That's another thing.
You have to interview other people.
Old girlfriend.
I like to challenge or upstage Frank Oz, who does Miss Piggy, probably the most.
Get away, you stupid anteater! You spoiled my entrance! Oh, knock it off!
He's actually a big tease. He's got a big heart and he's a big tease.
Just kidding.
I think he enjoys when you give it back to him.
Well, in this treasure island, we have pirates. What? They did? Forget it.
In survival of the fittest, Frank wins. and he is that good. That's the similarity. Even Fozzie Bear, even though you don't think he's aggressive, he is actually aggressive in his timing and in his delivery.
What are rich half-wit sons for?
Even though he's all insecurity, he's steamrolling you. And Frank is actually the most gentle person, the most gentle, sensitive human being I know, but you put a puppet on his hand, he's the most aggressive guy you can imagine. And when he's puppeteering, don't be in his way.
I just want you to know that I'm sorry.
Sorry? No, sorry doesn't cut it. You left me standing at the altar!
I don't think there's any doubt, really, that Miss Piggy has kind of rubbed off a tad on Frank. Because God knows Miss Piggy is a diva, but Frank isn't far behind him, I have to tell you.
Bonsoir, mes amis.
This is an interesting question. Has the character of Frank Oz rubbed off on Miss Piggy? Or has Miss Piggy's character rubbed off on Frank? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? I, for one, would like to know.
You like the pose? Do it again. Mwah.
Everybody up. Everybody up. The hardest thing probably physically is just keeping your arm up with a weight on the end of it. It's hard to put your arm over your head and put a weight there and then do hours of work a day.
The arm's up in the air.
It's a living.
Yeah, it's about all we know how to do.
No, it hurts. It can hurt. The longer you keep it up there, the longer it hurts.
Then you're trying to hold the script in your head and watch a monitor, because that's the only way you can see what the character's doing. It's not like acting where you just feel the part.
And the worst thing is having to hold absolutely rock steady, like we're working here. I mean, I'm holding this thing that doesn't weigh 4 ounces, you know, but I'm doing it like this, and my arm's a little bit twisted backwards. It's just a little bit hyperextended here, and it's absolutely steady.
If he thinks holding your hand up in the air is hard, he ought to try having a hand up his... Back! Yeah, well, whatever.
So it's a technical challenge, and really the good Muppet performers are so good at the technical side that they can forget it.
Look, this is a chair.
Yeah,
this is what we sit on. It's a little chair that goes like this, and this is adjustable for your head. We only just got this.
Yeah.
This is a new modern Muppet invention. But this is pretty good, except that this is too short. You see, you're supposed to sit on this part. It's only about 11 inches long.
Yeah, so your tailbone hits about here.
It's lousy.
Yeah, it falls off the edge.
Substandard. This is great. This part's not good. Used to be we had one, this part was good, but there was nothing up here, and your head fell over.
Yeah. No, it hurts.
Okay, I'm starting to get a little creeped out.
Yeah, me too. I don't think we're supposed to be seeing this.
Yeah. Billy Bones, it's me, Blind Pew.
With Blind Pew, he's being worked by 2 people, the same way that my father and Frank Oz used to do the Swedish Chef. Bill Barretta was doing the hands, and Jerry Nelson is doing the body. The reason why he did that, why they split it up that way, was because they knew there would be a certain comedy to a character that almost doesn't know what its hands are doing, because he's blind.
I got cabin fever! I've got it too! Cabin fever! I got cabin fever!
Cabin Fever, I really enjoyed doing.
Well, that's because he didn't have to dance the mambo on a moving ship with a fruit basket on his head.
I like that part.
You would.
I've been stuck at sea so long that we have simply gone bananas.
In the middle of the movie, there's something as a writer for films, so the second act. The middle of the second act, your movie becomes deadly dull. I mean, you could just, because you're kind of, you set up the story and now you're playing it out. And so in the middle of this movie, they're on this ocean voyage and they can't get to the island immediately. There's got to be some tension in getting there. So we're like, what do we do? I mean, these guys, you know, we're on a boat. I mean, it's going to go crazy. And it's sort of like, hey, wait a minute, what if they go crazy? Because there's a thing called cabin fever from being stuck in a cabin. I'm saying, well, if you're on a boat for however many months you are to do these kind of voyages, you're going to go a bit stir crazy. So this whole brainstorm of this completely ridiculous musical number in the middle of the movie, simply to do a completely ridiculous musical number in the middle of the movie, came about, Cabin Fever.
And then it died. I think it's one of the best movie musical scores that I've had a chance to get at. I think Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil are just brilliant.
I hate love songs in the middle of musicals.
You know, I'm beginning to see a pattern in the men I date.
Yeah, well, especially with Muppets, I'm like, come on, they're funny, they're wacky. It's a pig and a frog. If you try and take this seriously, we're doomed.
Don't cry for me, Benjamino.
Pardon?
Was I dumb or was I blind?
And Kermit and Piggy hanging upside down, very, very tricky scene to do. That was a really hard scene to do. I won't even talk about how hard, really, that one was. If you watch it, you can just see if you know anything about puppets, it's really difficult. There's strings everywhere to work the hands, and then we had to get rid of the strings later, and then the close-ups are puppeteers upside down, and you know, it's all just, it was very difficult.
But destiny could see we deserve to have another day.
In terms of work, probably what I learned from my father was to trust people around me. And I think that's, because I think that he, you know what, he used to get so much excitement out of having an idea that was very clear. I mean, he knew exactly what he was planning on doing. And then what he loved to do was hire people around him who were very creative and then get them involved and then see how it changed, not protect it. He never protected his vision. He always let it move and shift with the creative people that he put around him, and then seeing what the result was, and the result would never be quite what you expected, and hopefully it would be a lot better than what you expected. So I learned from him to trust the production designers and lighting directors and camera operators and writers and all that, and performers that I had around me, to trust them and take their input and integrate it. And as a director, almost most importantly, was to figure out a way to integrate everybody's idea into a cohesive whole without it falling apart.
You know, this whole quest, this whole adventure has been a spiritual journey in a way, because there's always more to what we do than just the comedy or the music. There's usually an underlying respect for human beings and a belief that Jim had that people were basically good, all that kind of thing. And that's present in just about everything we do.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably what I learned most from him.
Oh, that's nice.
What? Oh, yeah.
Done.
Move forward to those positions, then give me the action.
I'll give you the numbers if you want, Mike.
Does that make sense? Yeah. If you can first start, yeah, the ones at the back could almost come up. You come so that you're low down. Yeah, so that first you come forward to see it, and then you track it.
What you actually get.
Yeah. Whoa, and they're scared, and then. That's right. Yeah.
B camera.
Ready, and action.
It's gonna hit us! It's gonna hit us!
Cut.
Camera's go.
Excellent. Camera.
Jim and Frank!
Frank Oz, I believe, didn't like he never liked assisting other puppeteers. He liked to be the lead performer. And with the Swedish Chef, Frank was doing the hands and my father was doing the head. So Frank was always trying to throw my father. So I was, trying to throw him off guard. So there was a certain dynamic in that character that we carried across to Blind Pew.
Big Bones, I know you're here. You scurvy coward.
Tim's grandfather. Long John Silver talks exactly like my grandfather used to talk.
Pirates. Oh, Jim. If that's what you're thinking, you're dead wrong.
Well, certainly the inspiration for the way that he sounds is my grandfather, who, I saw a lot of as a kid because we lived in his hometown, and he had been a sort of amateur rugby hero too. He was a great sportsman, and he used to say things like, "You want an ice cream? That's sixpence. You'll have me in the workhouse."
Silver sings.
There's no more fun in the world than singing live, and to sing live for a camera and know that it could be there forever is an extraordinary thing to do.
He had pre-recorded it in the music studio, and then when he got on set, again, as I said, the crews get so excited about the Muppets that you have a crew of 100 people, and they're all watching Tim, and he's got this new energy. He's there shooting, and it's a different Tim than was in the recording studio. He is on. He's as on can be.
You'll be honest, brave, and free, the soul of decency. You'll be loyal and fair and on the square, and most important.
So what you see in the movie is actually him singing live on set. And since then, I've decided that every time we do a musical number, we will always do the vocal tracks live.
Tim and him.
Tim did most of the stunts.
And that would be because?
I'm a much better actor.
Oh, well, so I did the stunts and you did the acting. Is that what you're saying?
That's right, as well as the singing.
Excuse me, would you like to move this hand for me?
Oh,
yeah, hello. Is it? You see? So, you know, you think that is likely? Of course I did the stunts. You know, this person doesn't have a right arm.
I'm going to...
it won't work.
Just
you see, look.
Stop it, Tim.
Okay.
I did most of the acting and the singing.
And the singing?
Yes.
Would you like to sing for us now?
Yes, when you're a professional pirate.
I'm starting to believe him.
The pig and the pirate.
Oh, we have to talk about the pig. Sweet! Sweet!
It's interesting, Miss Piggy was actually created to be a diva. So she has to sort of fulfill that obligation.
Miss Piggy has a very special role in this film, the part of Benjamina Gunn.
This treasure island had many commitments, but my heart was in it, and it didn't matter how small or how large the part was. I wanted to do it.
Whenever Miss Piggy's around, there's certainly temperament happening.
Absolutely, there's big trouble usually.
Well, you know, Miss Piggy had a dressing room that was much bigger than mine, and I didn't actually catch on for a while.
Well, she has to. How would she fit in?
She does require her own dressers and her own costume designers and her own hair people.
She's hard, because she does have figure problems that she doesn't want to discuss.
Who cares?
Miss Piggy, she's a pig. What else do we say?
I mean, it's in the story that Long John Silver and Miss Piggy's character had an affair.
Pretty weird.
It didn't go very well. Didn't survive the shoot.
Who cares?
She felt that I wasn't being faithful to her, and I said, well, you know, I'm playing a sailor, and a sailor has a girl in every port, and at least you're the only pig. Then I made the mistake of calling her a silly sausage.
Okay, get me out of here.
The Fighting Frog.
Here we go. Ready and action.
And 3, 2, 1, jump.
Cute. That's looking good. That one actually felt good. You're right. Yeah.
Dangerous moments.
I think it's dangerous and a bit scary when people fall in the hole. So when the actors are up on the platforms or somebody's up on the platforms and they fall in the hole, that's a little scary. There's almost always someone down there to catch them, but it's kind of hard to catch a person, so you usually end up with sort of 4 or 5 people down sprawled on the floor. I think in Treasure Island, I don't know if we had a bad one. In Muppet Christmas Carol, we once lost a camera and a director of photography down the hole. But he was all right an hour later, and the camera was all right 3 days later, I think.
Parking lot pirates.
Maybe I'll go over here. It might be easier.
Some more hands.
If you need anybody to help you, let us know.
Barry, that's
fine. Go up a little more. Right there. Hold it there. It's the one he's working on. Yeah. Lower it down.
Making Muppet music.
Barry Mann, Cynthia Weil, of course, everybody knows them. They are probably the most prolific songwriters in the world.
Danger walks the deck, we say what ahead. We laugh at the perils we're facing. Every storm we ride is its own reward. And people die by falling overboard. People die by falling overboard.
Hey ho, we'll go anywhere the wind is blowing.
Manly men are we.
Sailing for adventure on the deep blue sea.
This was kind of a very rejuvenating project because we tend to argue more when we're doing the things that we've done many times together, and it's like, oh, you're doing that old thing what you've done before. But this, every moment was new. We had never approached anything like this before. So each song was a challenge, and that kind of, we supported each other.